Sacrificial Pancake, Episode 0. Hi, and welcome to Episode 0 of the Sacrificial Pancake, brought to you by verlotahealth.com. We know that some podcasts will call this their introductory episode, but we like to be one of those cool podcasts that call it Episode 0. And get used to it, you'll be getting that a lot here. We have a lot of that nerdy frat boy energy going on. As a way of introducing ourselves to you, let's first of all talk about who we are and what we are. My name's James Stewart, and I'm a health writer that's worked with various organizations throughout the years. I've personally written on a wide variety of topics regarding general health, as well as recent studies that changed the way we like to think of our health overall. The main point of this podcast, in general, is to help our listeners understand some of the most important issues in health, and especially how they can make changes in their lives. If you're listening to this, there's a good chance that you understand at least the basics of health and have a good idea of the changes you need to make in your life. But the fact is that we oftentimes need to be reminded and even pushed before we make that final step. In marketing and sales, there's a concept of the rule of 7. This means that a customer needs to hear or see an advertisement 7 times on average before they finally make the purchase. Let's say that you know that you should be cutting out sugar from your diet, for example. That isn't exactly a hot take, since everyone knows that sugar is not good for you. And yet, there you are with that bag of Twizzlers in your car. But by hearing certain concepts continually, and perhaps even hearing a different take or point of view on the matter, you can finally make that important first step toward positive change. Now this brings us to the name of the podcast. What in the heck is a sacrificial pancake? Well, for anyone who's ever made pancakes before, we all know a simple truth. No matter how good you are, and no matter how experienced you've become over the years making pancakes, the first one is always garbage. It might be raw in the middle, overcooked, misshapen, or have some other issue. But that first sacrificial pancake allows you to make the necessary changes to make the rest look perfect and taste wonderful. Now, I assume most people listening to this podcast are human, and as such, we're prone to make mistakes and not get things 100% all the time, especially not the first time. So maybe you've tried to lose weight or get yourself healthy in some other way, and it failed miserably. You know what? Don't worry. As they say, a mistake is only a failure if you fail to learn something. Our goal is to make complex ideas accessible, so they can be useful for everyone. This may include breaking down established ideas or dissecting findings from the latest studies. To do that, you'll be hearing a lot from me personally, as well as other professionals in the health news industry. We'll be interviewing writers like myself, as well as the people doing the studies or healthcare practitioners. We'll do our best to get you information that really matters to you, and maybe make some friends along the way. To make sure that this information is always as useful as possible, you can always feel free to reach out to give us feedback, or let us know if you have ideas for future episodes. You can do that by emailing us at podcast@verlotahealth.com. Now, Verlota here is spelled Verlota, health.com. Speaking of verlotahealth.com, if you enjoy learning more about health-related issues, feel free to stop by and check out that site to get access to our blogs, as well as a link to our YouTube page. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for Episode 1 of the Sacrificial Pancake.